second battleground here as we go to Volskaya Foundry. First pick will head over to Method, and Monkeys will be looking to play the robots.
Now, I'm still not convinced. I want to see more. Like, I need consistency from Monkeys.
Monkeys is one of these teams, they've burned me enough to where, like, I can look at my pinky and I'm like, oof, I've been burned. I don't know if I can go with this, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's... Yes, they won a game. Yes, they played it smart. They had great team fights in the early and mid game. And then towards the late game, they showed understanding of what was going on and how much of an advantage they had with all those keeps down and played well around it. At the same time, again, draft matters. It was a strong draft. It was perfect how the game shaped up for them. I need to see a little bit more before I actually believe in the Monkeys at this point, because it was a good game, but it's also a question of how much was it Method screwing up. So there's still a bit of a question mark for me, and draft number 2 is going to answer some of those questions.
You know who's currently watching the Monkeys right now and are the biggest fans? Both Leftovers and Fnatic, as they want to climb in the standings. Like, oh, Monkeys are amazing. Perfect game. More of that, please.
Yeah. It's like map losses against the Monkeys, that's fantastic. Dude, if you can win the series, that would be even better. Make sure that there's no way for... Like, Liquid and Fnatic, like all of them, would absolutely love for Method to not really have a chance anymore to directly qualify for BlizzCon. But even when they could push down into the playoff spots, into a bad one, that would be fantastic for all those teams. So you are absolutely right.
I'm actually kind of curious for those at home right now. Do you think the Monkeys have it together, or is it just one game? Was it a bit of a fluke? Is Method going to pull us back? Let us know on Twitter. Hit us up. Use the hashtag HGC at Heroes Esports. If you want to tag Caldor, you can. If you want to tag me, you're more than welcome to too. We'd like to hear what you guys think about the matches.
You can also tell us if we're like the attack. Why attack?
Attack. I didn't say attack. Did I say attack?
What didn't? Oh, tag.
Tag.
I was just like,
attack the HGC with the hashtag.
What did I do today? Like, I was like, for once in my life.
You can attack Caldor. You can follow my Twitter or whatever you want to do. I'm cool with it. I might even like it.
I was like, what did I do today?
Whoa. So, game number 1, amazing drafting. Game number 2, Caldor. Here's a White Man and a Genji in your first and second slot in Volskaya Foundry.
Which one of the two shocks you that much?
The White Man.
Okay.
Shocks me.
Okay, White Man.
Genji's okay.
Okay. Just double checking because...
But then again, White Man and Genji. White Man doesn't have the best pairing with Genji, having to chase him around and give him the healing constantly, right?
Still, I mean, we have, first of all, we have Mako and Genji. I think that's one of the main reasons why they have that. It's also one of the reasons why Method banned Genji out in the previous game.
Yeah.
Because Genji traditionally is another hero that AD already oftentimes plays. White Man doesn't really shock me. The only thing that surprised me is the priority on him.
Yeah.
That's more so than anything else. I feel like in that slot, you could have gone for Diablo, for example.
Yes.
It really worked well for them in the last game. We have the Deckard Cain first pick. So that they are taking White Man over picking Diablo here, that's also a bit of a surprise to me. But then again, I would expect them to go into Muradin as their tank again, because it's something that we've seen a lot from Rimmerballer.
Yeah.
So I assume that they are just saying, well, there's no... Only Garrosh is banned, we're not really too worried. We're going to get either Johanna, Muradin, or Diablo for Rimmerballer, so that's fine. Let's go with that. And yeah, it seems that Splendor really believes in White Man after Deckard Cain is taken off the board.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played too many games in Genji. The more I'm thinking about it, maybe if you're able to get your Desperate Plea on top of him and you provide the damage in the middle of a team fight, he actually is going to be pretty similar in terms of maybe Malfurion Tracer back in the day when you can make sure you keep them alive and you put out the damage around the team fight. I'm actually kind of curious to see how this is going to work for them. I'm looking for their 5th pick.
It doesn't really shock me too much. Like, again, I agree with you compared to the first game. It's definitely a subpar. It's
flips
like,
it on the head.
I didn't expect White Man. Like, White Man is a hero that is currently 3-7 in HGC Europe, and all 3 wins are on the side of the Dignitas.
Yeah.
5 teams by now have played White Man, and out of those 5 teams, only 1 team was able to get victories with her.
Let's see if we get another one on Volskaya. We're getting this draft set up, and we're going to come back here in a second here. It seems like something decent for us. But looking over to Method, with their opening, Kayn, Diablo, Phoenix, this is very traditional of them. This is them going towards that route of having a tanky front line, expecting probably a solid top laner for them as well. You actually saw the Thrall ban come from them on their side. What do you think about the Thrall ban?
I actually like it. I mean, Thrall is, first of all, a hero that is popping up more and more, especially on Volskaya and some other maps. And the triple melee line is something that we've seen from Team Liquid, we've seen it from Dignitas a bit, and we also had in the past monkeys play a lot around Thrall. So that they are banning that out, I'm absolutely okay with that. It's another hero that loves to go up against Diablo in the later stages of the game, so he scales into the late game when you have a Diablo on your side because of the Alpha Wolf and the Wolf Pack that's oftentimes now taken on level 4 to create some synergy there. Thrall is played more aggressively, even without the Ancestral Healing, trying to go into follow-through to add, through the cooldown reduction on level 4, even more DPS to it. So I don't mind the Thrall ban at all, especially the Sundering engages can be a huge problem for Phoenix when he's in the mix. I think the draft that we have on the side of Method is currently looking way, way stronger than what we had in game number 1. I felt game 1 was a bit more experimental and a bit more high execution level where they're trying to play a macro game around the Haka global mobility, and trying to create some disengage and CC potential with ETC. They got punished for it, and now they realize, okay, let's just step away from that. Let's go and take a beefy front line and take something where we have a lot of power picks for us, where we also have personal preferences. Phoenix, for example, when it comes to mind there.
I really enjoys that. I mean, I think in an alternate universe, even when game number 1 happened, if we had the Diablo interrupted when he was channeling by Babby in the bottom left, or the Drag connecting for Ethereal, we have a completely different game there on Crystal. So I think they can totally chalk this up and say, okay, game number 1, bit of a fluke, let's go into game number 2, and make sure that we are set up and ready to control that lane. Now, with Thrall being banned out and Yrel being banned out, Blaze picked up, suddenly other side laners are coming to mind that I'm kind of looking forward to. Lee Oric could be a possibility for them, help them on that front line.
Yeah. Leo is another one that you could play on the solo lane if you really wanted to. I mean, first of all, the Yrel ban is, I feel, catering, like, maybe not the Yrel ban. So taking Blaze over Yrel in the setup right now and not vice versa, picking Yrel and banning out Blaze is catering, I feel, mostly to the map more than anything else. Where Alex just says, listen, we're going to get more value out of Blaze when we need to hold the control point here. Yrel can be great. But yeah, let's not use that together. But they don't want to give up Yrel over to the other side, since that's the combo that they played in the previous game, Yrel, Deckard, Kayn, and Diablo. So they ban her out as one of those elements. But when it comes to side laners, after we have that ban out, Leo is definitely an option. You can play around Leo if you want to.
I like him against Blaze, just being able to hold that lane, you get the wave clear coming in there, you can also put some decent damage on him if he is to overstep. And then of course you go into that late game paralysis that he brings in with the Ominous Wraith, but that level 20 Entomb, Buried Alive, is wonderful around the 3rd control point if you can land that 20, and usually if you can find a kill, especially if you have a lead, the game can be over.
I mean, there is a Malthael to at least consider as well. Yeah. We had that a few times too, so it's a hero that you can make arguments for. Don't really see it necessarily with the draft that they are running right now. If the Diablo was on the other side, then maybe, but we still don't know what the main tank is going to be for the Monkeys. I'm a little bit afraid that Monkeys might go into Nubarak here. I expect Muradin.
Yeah.
But they played a lot of Nubarak, and that's what scares me a little bit, just simply because it's a hero that can get punished very heavily, and we've seen the hero getting punished on the Monkey side a lot.
One combo that we saw yesterday that I appreciated from Dignitas was Stitches and White Mine together with that Harsh Discipline. That combo wound up being much more stronger than I expected it to be. That could also be a possibility for the Monkeys. The main issue is you don't have an immediate follow-up. Sure, you have Genji you can dash in, but something to consider.
All right, here we go. Off lane. What are we going to see for Ethereal here? Are we going to have that play around Leo, or are they going to go down a different path here? I mean, with Leo, you still have some control, and you talked about like the tools to really set something up. The problem with Leo is if you go in Tomb here, you have the bunker against you, and that can really save a lot of targets. The Hawkeye instead, adding that global again, but we have Nazebo now in the mix. Nazebo really starting to make a really big splash in the meta in Europe. Originally more so as a Sergeant Hammer counter, who we have, by the way, not seen in any of these drafts here yet. It's not even banned out, but also can be a great hero when you reach the late game here, and has, of course, fantastic poke. And there's, as expected, Muradin on the last slot for the Menagerie.
What do you think about Nazebo being in the meta, man?
I personally like it. I like specialists or like these heroes being in the meta as long as they are a little bit niche.
Yeah.
I would have no problem with Murky or other heroes making an occasional appearance on certain maps in certain compositions. The only thing that I personally don't want, I don't want them to be power picks that appear in every single game. Because that's something where I don't think that's something that the audience wants. It's something where, from a player's perspective, that must feel extremely not very enjoyable. Yeah. So if we have some of these weirder picks that really fit onto in a specific map in a specific draft, I'm all for it. Those popping in?
Yeah.
Thumbs up. I'm a fan.
With this Nazeebo becoming more popular, though, lately, I'm wondering where my boy Ragnaros is. Ragnaros mixed with Nazeebo gets you to the late game.
Now, the problem is that a lot of people are really doing well dodging out on the on-still forward smash, and the issue that you have with Ragnaros is that Lava Wave just simply sucks, so you have these two ults that you don't get a lot out of.
Another word for Ragnaros is amazing, because you use the wrong word way too often. Sucks is not correct.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, that might be a problem.
Awesome sauce is the word you can use. Say it with me. Lava Wave is awesome sauce. Ready?
Lava
3, 2,
Wave
1.
sucks.
Okay.
That's what I learned at school. Like,
But
isn't that how English works?
yeah, that's kind of close. Kind of close. We'll work on it. On the left side in the blue, Rimmer on Muradin, Crosby on Junkrat, Splendor on Whitemane, Alex the Prodigy on Blaze, and Make on Genji.
And over to the right in red, we're down one game in this series. We have 80 Ardi on the Zebra. We're seeing Bad Benny on Diablo, Nick again on Phoenix with the auto attacks. The Thero finds himself on the Haka for the second time in a row. And Curson on Deckard Kane.
So it's going to be out that farming game for Nazeebo, the typical spider build that we've been seeing. Haven't seen much deviation away from that. If we have any deviation, it might be that level 4 talent, but lately we've been getting more and more of the spiders. Getting that self-sustain in.
Yeah, it's something where especially Korea likes to go into the voodoo ritual. And I personally enjoy that a lot, but if you want to have more self-sustain, then going full spider is also pretty good.
Gotta hit those spiders, though.
Yeah, I think I spider.
A little tip, actually, for getting your spiders onto the opposing heroes. If you see a minion wave that has a low health member or low minion, drop your spiders on that, you'll get the full proc, and the spiders will immediately move over to the closest target, and usually you can get it on a hero.
What I like is talking about spiders and talking about that damage over time that Nazeebo pushes out. Muradin's level 1, third win taken, so this time not the Stormbolt quest that we see that often. Reese is more so the Muradin player that really still likes to go into third win, but with all that poke damage that is now coming out on the side of Method, Muradin just saying, hey, listen guys, I might eat a lot of damage here at the front, I can move back in. Third win is going to allow me to do that and takes also some pressure off my healer so that Splendor with his Whitemane doesn't have to go that deep.
Rimmer, speaking about him, having to deal with a bit of fight here in the middle as that Vinny and ADRD puts some damage on them. His attempt is to try and stop these minions from connecting with the damage from Nazeebo, so he can slow down the stacks there. Not going to get too much, though.
So we're talking also a bit about Splendor and Whitemane. Clemency taken as the level 1 talent again. Now, once more, Desperate Plea was heavily focused in the first week of Whitemane appearing in HGC, but now players are starting to move more towards that Inquisition player.
Yeah, Desperate Plea not as much value as they thought. Clemency gives you the skill and the cooldown reduction. Here comes a Thero with the Burrow. That support camp is still healthy, so they can turn around and focus Blaze. Alex Approaching gets pulled into a turret while the... Wow, he actually is able to escape. I thought he was dead already. Curson actually is the one to be focused down. Monkeys save Alex.
Wow.
And actually get 2 kills.
Double kill. Nazeebo and Deckard came down. Now, Deckard I could absolutely understand. He was a bit out of position. They get jumped on.
Sure.
And then it's also Nazeebo who dies next. The Monkeys with a level lead moving into that control point. And again, Whitemane doing a great job helping Alex to keep him alive. Alex was actually bullied around by that front line of Method a lot with the Drag and Diablo. And then he could use the jet propulsion, at least stun them out for a few seconds, which allowed Whitemane to help out with the heals and the sustain. Still a crazy turnaround in that fight because it looked very much as if Blaze would fall.
Yeah, it looked like Blaze was done. It looked like enough time had been bought for Method to rotate over and get the full engage that they wanted from Diablo and possibly take over the support camp.
It's the moment when you're actually sitting there, it's like, oh, they're already taking the support camp, Blaze falls. Still a good trade, you get the item.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, he actually lives, and they're getting 2 kills, and they get the biotic emitter. I call that a win-win.
My brain currently hates me right now because the world doesn't feel real. Monkeys are playing well today. Make on that front line, keeping up with Genji. He's going to get thrown to the side, but he should be able to dash out. Monkeys have a small experience lead, so they can move towards that level 7. They've already started to control the control point as well, so they have set themselves up to take this Protector.
I'm actually at this point right now, if the Monkeys win the series today, I'm actually going to be insanely mad at them. Why don't we see this every week?
Yeah.
That's what my brain's asking me right now. But again, at the same time, I have to once more give a little bit of a caveat here, because we are in a situation where the Monkeys have won the first game through playing a lot better and a lot more precise than we've seen in past weeks, but they also had a superior draft. In this game now, yes, they have a lead, but let's not rush it here. We are currently in a situation where Method oftentimes comes into play after they have their level 10 abilities and sync those up. They have a composition that drafted for the late game too. They have insanely powerful picks here on their side. So let's not call the game just yet. But Monkeys are definitely off to a good start. I don't want to take anything away from that either.
They grab a turret. They'll step up and attempt to control the point. Bad Benny gets thrown to the side, but he's able to combo in thanks to the Shadow Charge. Rimmer locked down by the wall, but ADRD shells away on the spiders. But at the same time, Make goes in for a dash, goes for ADRD. Bad Benny's low too. 2 more pickup for the Monkeys, and they might be able to get a third.
And they're trying to go out. Deflect comes in. Make is able to survive. They're going for Cursen, and he goes in deep, but he doesn't get the kill. Down goes Genji. Great attempt by Make to get the kill against Deckard Cain. Maybe a bit ambitious considering he was so low in HP, but he thinks he can get it. He dives in, and that's the mind. Like it did backfire, but this is the mindset you need to have as a Genji player. If you see that moment, you have to make the play. And
you have
to be
the
honest,
killer instinct.
It was one auto attack that he was missing.
Yeah.
One single auto attack. If he connects that and doesn't misclick, I think he misclicked the structure. If he takes that and connects it with Deckard, then all of a sudden Deckard is down, he gets a reset, and he's immediately out of the fight.
I mean, any other support would have died too. Also, Sticker came with the armor coming in.
Yes, yes.
Quick cooldown reduction gives him that heal at the last second before the poison can finish him off from that level 4 talent. Monkeys on a roll right now. 4-1 in kills, have the first protector, open up the top lane, moving in for the well, could even put some damage on this Ford. They have a good 14 seconds left on this protector, but the Monkeys are slaying.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And right now, Method is probably going to be on tilt. ADRD is low and goes down. Goodbye, Nazebo. The Witch Doctor eliminated. They make that play. They try to push it in even further towards the fort. But even if they only get the well here, prepping the top lane for the next objective would already be huge. And there's level 10, of course, to be considered now as well.
Jet Propulsion, combo, done. Another kill. 6-1, 4 is next. 10 connects for the Monkeys, taking a massive lead and setting themselves up for the next protector phase.
I think Josh just messed up on the production side and mixed up the 2 team names or something.
Yeah, I guess Stingtoss is playing today or something. I don't know, man.
To be honest, if you're like, if like a religious HGC Europe viewer tunes into this and just takes a quick look at the screen and says like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Monkeys are ahead 1-0 against Team Method and have a 1.5 level lead in game number 2. What's happening? I need more coffee.
Maybe.
Or glasses.
Maybe Method just needs coffee.
I am impressed by Monkeys, and at the same time, I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, why don't I see this every week? I love that they're stepping it up. I love that they are really just tightening up their drafts, that we have that happening right now. But even if they lose this series, why is this not the playstyle that we see from them every week? Look at this. They're pressuring Cursen again. He goes down. Deckard is dead, and they're trying to get that second kill. The bunker is in perfect place there, and once again, Stormbolt connects. Bam! The Riptire comes out straight into the face of the Haka. Diablo is just an afterthought here. Benny on the run. Lord of Terror, I don't think so. He's terrified, if anything. Rushes away, and the Monkeys are dominating. 8 kills to 1.
Every team fight, they walk away with 2 more kills. Every single time.
I'm getting angrier by the second. Give me that every week.
Keep your anger contained, Hulk. Listen, we got 10 more levels, and Method will be moving towards that level 20. They are still stacking. Let's keep that in mind as well. 86 here for ADRD. Has finished his Widowmaker's quest here. Dahaka about to finish his level 10 or level 1.
But we have to get away from one thought process. I really want to highlight that.
Yeah.
I agree that the power spike of Nazebo is insane on level 20.
Yeah.
But the mindset of just taking a beating for 20 levels,
I mean,
is not really what you like. Nazebo can have, and we've seen from other teams in Korea and in Europe. Must admit, I haven't really watched much Nazebo in North America. We have seen how much of an impact he can have even before.
Yeah.
Talking about impact, someone who doesn't have an impact at all right now is Diablo, but at least he survives this time. Barely taking a scratch.
There's still no denying that the later spikes do help out in team fights, but the beating right now is definitely being served by the Monkeys, and they don't intend to stop. Another engage on Deckard Cain. Cursen struggling here as the Monkeys steamroll him.
And there's a few things that we have to also highlight when we're talking about the way that the Monkeys are currently playing and why that is. Now, first of all, Make is back on Genji. That's number 1. Good kill here against Genji, though, as he's dying for the second time. But still, he makes a lot of plays into the into the backline where he really pressures the support and where he also pressures very heavily Nazeebo and Phoenix. And I think it's actually absolutely great how aggressive Maka is with that. He creates a lot of opportunities for his team, so that's pretty awesome.
He shines on high mobility heroes. He used to play another game in this genre that had high mobility heroes, and he excelled there.
Absolutely. And also, Monkeys were always a team that thrives off momentum. Like, they love to have fun together, and they love to be in a spot where they can just, like, you know, feed off each other's, like, euphoria. And that's exactly what we're getting from them here now. And that's what Method has to break through. That's Method's objective. Break through that and put them into a bad spot again, and then you can make a play here. But now it's a 5 versus 5 at the top lane, and Method still doesn't have level 13 talents.
They do not. They're close, but not fully there. They do hold the control point. They had to use Lightning Breath, though. Thero gets thrown in the top left. Does he have Essence? He does. Pops it and burrows. Tries to get up on this conveyor belt, trying to buy some time. Turns around for a drag. Will pull in Muradin.
Great move against Blaze, though. Benny actually locking Alex down as Alex was aiming for a Thero and trying to stun him out even more in that situation. So very well done. 13 now on both sides, but again, Genji in that back line. Kirsten is in trouble. Here comes the salvo, though, and Alex doesn't have the bunker ready anymore. Down he goes, and Method is on the verge of turning this around with a good isolation against Muradin. A drag follows up, the double kill, and Method is back to business as they go for Splendor and barely miss out on the third kill.
Kirsten, though, he is huffing and puffing, having to dodge out on skill shots. Genji diving him on the back line, having a hard time, but thanks to his front line, he was able to survive in that team fight, and him surviving allowed for Method to turn around and get the full engage that they wanted.
Expect abuse charges to be brought forward against Monkeys very soon. I mean, you can't just like chase an old man around like this the entire time. The guy has a weak heart, has battled demons his entire life. I mean, he deserves a bit of a rest here, and they are making him run circles. It's not fair.
But he did have a nice youthful life.
Did he?
Yeah, man. The other day, I was surfing somewhere on the internet, I don't know where, and stumbled upon young Kane pictures. That guy was handsome.
Sounds like young Sheldon to me. Was he already that annoying when he was young?
Oh, I think he was actually a bit of a partier, like young Medivh.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Deckard.
I mean, he makes potions, maybe in the early stages.
Yeah, has a lot of scrolls as well.
Yeah.
Word to the wise also. We have 15 versus 15 now. Method definitely showing up. Monkeys have lost some of that momentum that we've been highlighting in the early game. And that's a problem now. This is really now one of these issues where you still need to... They needed to maintain the momentum because of the level 20 power spike for Nazeebo. But not only that, they just needed to make sure that they are able to use these advantages that they establish in the early game and carry them into the mid and late game. And currently they're failing to do that. With Diablo now getting a lot more stacked on his souls, I mean, he's completed at that. That's also making him extremely powerful here and more difficult to take down. So, how are the Monkeys going to approach this? They're flanking their Haka. They want to go for the dinosaur. Stormbolt misses, but there's the stuns. They are unloading everything, and Thero might actually live here.
He might be able to, no. Gets
barely.
Harsh discipline helping there.
If Deckard would be a little bit faster, if he had exercised more, done more cardio in his time, then he could have put a Lornado through to maybe push them off.
But this Lornado actually pushes multiple members of the Monkeys into the fort. They are able to hop out, but it could have been a moment where Method was able to find a kill. Monkeys do live through it. They survive. They back up and go to the support camp.
Yeah, exactly. They have a 5 versus 4 now, so that kill is actually important because now they have some map control, and they should also go for the bottom right turret. Invade the turret while you have 10. Yeah. It's the Haka. He has the global, so yeah, that changes things, of course, a little bit. My bad. I was for a second not really respecting the global here, so not something that you can really do. I think if it was any other hero, they would have gone for the play. But they at least got the biotic emitter. And item control is, of course, key on the map.
Yep. If you ever are facing off against a global and you see a 10-second death timer on that global, always err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
Back up, play it safe. Unless you know for sure they had just recently used their global ability.
Radiance is such a great talent for white main. I mean, once you have those 3 stacks of desperation, which you can accumulate pretty quickly, healing every ally with Zeal for a significant amount of HP is pretty strong. Like in team fights where Salvo and Lightning Breath and all those AoE abilities are having a huge impact, that is actually something that can save the day for you. So I'm very interested to see how much Splendor can do with that. Also talking about just in general talents and quests, we have 165 stacks on the Voodoo Ritual for Nazeebo, but also noteworthy is that Murden is about to complete his quest. He's at 24 stacks, needs one more to get the cooldown reduction on his auto attacks and also the Pierce, and that should help them in those fights a lot.
He's moving into the stun on level 16 for his talent pickup. Helping to deal with Genji, who keeps diving the back line, trying to work in one auto attack, preferably right when he pops his deflect, so you can interrupt that. Monkeys slow down the game a little bit, though, with their opponents being equal in experience. And Dahaka being able to burn in, of course, especially with Bad Benny being fully decked out, thanks to him finishing his souls. They'll poke where they can, but anytime they see him show up, they'll back up and find another way to soak experience.
Items are great for Monkeys. Having the Biotic Emitter and also the turret is fantastic. Now we're talking about the bottom control point. Are they going to make a play here? Nah, Benny just has way too many hit points. Trying to get some extra damage onto him, though. And yeah, there's the pushback, but no stun. Oh my god, Kirsten caught again. Deckard, Kane, I mean, really, Deckard is getting a bit senile in his old days. Like, he's wandering aimlessly around the map and gets caught by the opponent. 4 deaths on him. Bit of a miscommunication there.
Deckard was trying to make sure to throw down a few potions for Diablo so he wouldn't get in trouble and found himself actually in trouble.
But I don't think that Diablo was ever really in trouble. Not with how many hit points he has. And now that's a free fort while you're channeling the objective. I thought the Riptire was a bit curious that we saw there to clear the wave out, but then again they were hoping that they could catch the hero and the cooldown should be ready for the next big engage. Diablo trying to make a play. I'm not quite sure if that's really the move. The healer isn't there, and here comes Rama Baller. That's a 4 versus 5 if I've ever seen one.
Bad Benny trying to back up. Nazeebo wall here too. Ethereal gets trapped inside. We'll be able to run to the bush to get that movement speed. Deckard cannon spawn, but he's nowhere near the battle. Bad Benny is low, but he will survive.
That's 2 big cooldowns blown for Method. Deckard is back, so now they're just simply moving back onto the point. Experience lead still on the side of the Monkeys. They are poking, and those were important cooldowns that got burned. Especially the isolation.
So does Method fight this here? Looks like they're thinking about it.
I mean, you can buy some time. You can fight it. I don't think you can get to 20. They don't have a global, so I think eventually they have to fight it, or they just give up a protector. Which they could. Oh, Bunker needs to be out there. So far we don't have it. Alex is waiting it out. Charges in. And 6 seconds on the Bunker. Benny in trouble. Nice attempt by Method, but no kill. Instead, it's Diablo that falls. Murden jumps in again. Auto attacks, reducing the Stormbolt cooldown. And there's again the old man dying. Double kill. Diablo back to business, but that's not going to be the case for Deckard Kane or Dehaka. Monkey Menagerie on a tear.
Both Blaze and Make engage at the same time. Quick resets, quick picks. Diablo falling first, and Method will just left the fall over. 20 connects for the Monkeys. The Protector is on the way. The Keep wall has been deleted. The Keep is next. Monkeys are going to go up 2-0 over Method.
Take a look at the kill count.
16-4. Total 20 kills, 16 of them are the Monkeys.
Give me the stats of Game 1 and Game 2 and ask me which team is which. I tell you immediately that there's no way that the Monkeys pull this off. Monkeys, they walk to the core. Rema Bola is having a one-on-one with the second keep right now. God knows why, just for the lulz. The Dwarf can do anything, we all know that. But the core is falling, there's no denying that. And all of a sudden, the Monkey Menagerie takes the 2-0 lead in a series where Team Method is now very likely at risk of tilting. They really need that break now. They really need the next break to just
level out, yeah.
Calm down.
I'm shook. I'm not playing in these matches.
I am blown away. We're talking
bananas.
We're talking Method here.
Yeah.
The 3rd seed in Europe right now, getting obliterated by the number 7.
A number 7 that they've been falling off week after week after week, getting worse and worse. Having a couple of moments where sure they get a good series in, it's a good macro, but usually afterwards they just fall behind.
After the first play day where the Monkeys were able to secure 3 maps and a win against the Zealots back then, now Roll20, Monkeys only took 2 maps for the remainder of this phase. 2. They already won 2 in the series.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we watching here?
Even in the history when it comes to Monkeys versus Method, they've played a total of 8 times since HGC has been around. And Method has won 6 out of those 8 matches. Monkeys haven't won one since the middle of 2017 in June. And today, in a situation where I wouldn't see them pull through.
And I don't get it. I mean,
they're making it work.
Think about last week. What was the match last week? Granite Gaming. It's the one match where Monkey comes in and says like, okay, listen guys, we
have to win this one.
This is important. If we take down Granite here today, you know, there's a chance that we make it out of the Crucible, that we don't even have to deal with that. Then they lost and like, well, okay, it didn't really work out. Against Granite, they get destroyed. And now here today, they're looking at a 2-0. I'm just like blown away. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, think about you're an open division team.
Yeah.
You're looking towards the bottom of the standings in HGC, and you're thinking, okay, which one is the team that we want to go up against if we have our pick? Zealots are starting to improve a little bit. You can see some signs of life. They're talking about how they make these changes. Monkeys, do they really care? Nobody really knows. We know that they're half-time, that they're going back to university right now, that they have not as much time to scrim as other teams. Haven't really won any maps. If we have the choice, we'd probably go for the Monkeys. And then you watch this.
And it's all thrown up in the air.
And you're like, wait, what? No.
Well, Monkeys are up 2-0, but they still have to finish the series out, and we're going to come back after a commercial break, and we'll see if they can do just that. We'll be right back. This is the HGC.